Is this David Moyes' last game at his stadium behind us? My name's Nicky Hawkins. Welcome to the West Ham Fan TV preview. Dan Lawless is my guest this week. How you doing, mate?
Doing well, mate. Doing well. And I feel like there have been multiple previews where we've asked, is this David Moyes' last game? And somehow, some way, he survives. But the pressure's on big time now. This game, and I've said this before, but this has to be the biggest game of the season.
I think so, yeah. I pointed this one down in front of the Spurs game as the game of importance because, a Spurs game can go either way. But the fact of the matter is this: we turned up to Spurs, we were passive, and we've gone out going down to goals that I think that is inevitable that we're going to concede. If you set up that way, you're just inviting pressure on. We beat Everton, is one win since October here, by the way. We haven't won a lot at home this season either. We've obviously lost the first game to Nottingham Forest, but when I look at the way we've set up, we've literally just beaten a team that was worse than us on the day. Come here against Chelsea, we sat back until we conceded, and it forced us to come forward, and it showed. I mean, we're poor. We're a poor team, Dan. We're poor. We're a poor side, and we scored. I know one was offside, but we scored 2 goals against Chelsea. But it took us to concede 3 before we started coming out and playing.
Well, there's reports coming out that the way David Moyes approaches games, he spends, I think it was either 80 or 90% focused on
not conceding.
Basically nullifying the opposition.
Yeah.
Basically, it's looking at what the opposition does and trying to stop them. And in the remaining percentage, he focuses on what we're doing. And Stuart Pearce pretty much confirmed that on TalkSport is David Moyes is a manager that is really focused on what do the opposition do and how can we stop them, how can we frustrate them. And that is the problem, is when we're going into it, we're not going, on the front foot. We're not going there to play our game. We're so worried about what the opposition's going to do.
I think I suppose the last 2 years, the reason why it's worked for us is the fact that the players are in good form. If he's spending all of his time, nullifying the opposition, but the players, know how to score goals and have got an attacking sense about them. But I think the problem is this season, Dan, is that, we've got a lot of players out of form. Mikel Antonio's too old now. He can't do what he used to do. And I'm a little bit, reluctant to say that about Mikel because he's been a good servant to this club. And he's played well over the last few weeks. But the fact of the matter is because of the way Moyes is setting up, because of the lack of potency of Bowen, who has had a superb couple of seasons.
I think he was one of our brighter players against Spurs. And
well, he was.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, but the way we set up with 5 at the back and basically 3 holding midfielders.
That's the problem, and this is the thing why, to me, regardless of who's in form or who's out of form, to me it doesn't matter because Rice came out and said it. It's going like that with 3 defensive midfielders, 5 defenders. How are we going to create anything for our attackers? What do we expect Antonio to do? Antonio's, he's 32, 33. He's the sort of player that he's probably not going to have a really long career. And he's not in the best of form, but we're not doing him any favours.
No, we're definitely not doing him any favours, no. We're not getting him into the positions that, we need to be getting him. He's best with, basically, he's back to goal and not much time to think. And he doesn't get much of that anymore, he's working back and I just don't understand. Every time I see, a David Moyes team now, we're playing between the lines. We're playing that midfield 3 on Sunday wasn't up with the midfield. They were sitting in front of the defence, and it's just basically inviting Tottenham on. And a team like Tottenham, as poor as they've been, they're in the top 4. Yeah. You know what I mean? And they finished the weekend in the top 4 because they've got a couple of attackers that can do great things. They've got a couple of world-class attackers that can open up defences, whether you put 5 in there, 10 in there, whatever. And I just think we played into their hands then, and we're not attacking games. And
you asked the Spurs fans, they've said that that's probably the easiest game they've had.
Their defence is literally like, I see a perfect clip. I think you posted it up on Twitter. A perfect clip of a guy saying, I was surprised how timid West Ham were. They normally come here and make it difficult. We didn't make it difficult. Yeah. And that is the problem, Dan. The only time when we've played relatively well, and we didn't even play well, is when we played Everton. Right. We had a couple of good draws against Newcastle. I wouldn't even say Chelsea was a good draw because they're getting beat by You know, everyone at the moment.
Yeah.
You know, and you've
Both
got
Chelsea and Newcastle are in form as well.
this notion that David Moyes can only get sacked if we get a heavy defeat here on Saturday, I think is nonsense. I would I would think about sacking him if he approaches his game the same way that he's been approaching the other games, because I've said this time and time again this season. This is the definition of insanity. He's doing the same thing over and over and over again. He's not limited in his options anymore, Dan.
Yeah.
He's not limited in his options. You know what I mean? Like, there have been excuses for him in the past couple of years when we've lost games that we should have won, especially being in the form we are, where you can say, yeah, all right, he's limited in his options. You know, what else has he got? These players have run themselves into the ground. He's not limited anymore.
Yeah. And that's the problem for me. And the big worry when lastly on the Spurs game is we've seen this over the years. No matter how shit we've been all season, that's the fixture usually where form goes out the window.
Yep.
We turn up. You see a bit of fight. You see a bit of battle, and there was none of that. And that worries me big time. And I look at Moyes, and regardless, win, lose or draw, this season, whatever happens, even if we win the Conference League, he wins that, I want him to go, because I can't stand to watch this football any longer. It's okay when you're winning, but it's really draining. It's really draining to watch, and it's been so boring. And we'll talk a bit about that statistic. I'll pull it out. The Avram Grant, who's probably is thought of as one of, if not our worst manager.
He's definitely up there. Yeah,
he's up there. It's been said, a lot of fans will consider him my worst ever manager, right? So let's look at the statistics. 2010-2011 season. 23 games played, right, under Avram Grant. We're up to 23 games with Moyes. We had 4 wins under Grant. We have 5 under Moyes. We had 8 draws under Grant. We have 5 under Moyes. We had 11 losses under Grant. We had 13 under Moyes. We had more goals. We had 22 goals under Grant, and we have 19 under Moyes. We had 41 goals against us and 29 under Moyes, which shows you his pragmatic approach. The goal difference was minus 19 under Grant, and the goal difference is minus 10 under Moyes, both 20 points. So same points, more wins. More
losses.
More losses, basically. More losses under Moyes. And that is the problem. And, we got relegated that season. It was awful.
Yeah, I mean, when I've spoken to, friends of mine who don't really understand what's going on here at the minute, and, they want to make a case for Moyes. And like, as I say, I don't want to keep banging on the door of the manager, but, you're looking around you now, and people are changing it because they're thinking, no, this is not good enough. And there are people around us, and all I'm hearing from our board is 100% backing. He's got our 100% backing. We trust Moyes. We trust Moyes to be able to get us out of it, and that's a worrying thing when your board are blind to it. They've given him a lot of money. I mean, like, at the end of the day, if it costs them £5 million to get him out of the club, it could save you £300 million, because at the moment, statistically, Dan, we are going down.
Yeah.
We're in the bottom 3 as it stands, and we are going down. We haven't got, if you look at
scoring goals.
We're not scoring goals. We're lacking confidence. We're leaking. We're not leaking as many. We're not freely leaking goals, but some of the goals that we are leaking are worrying. When you look at and when you look at different things that sort of contribute to all this, it seems like a relegation season.
Yeah.
Key players injured at key times, all at the same time. A couple of weeks ago, Paqueta goes out, who just started finding his feet. Then Aguero goes down. Luckily, we got him back this week. Zuma's gone down. Danny Ings was rumoured to be injured. There's these contributing factors. The football gods, as you like to refer to them, they contribute these factors. And when you're struggling and you're waiting for your players to come back, and then one comes back and then 3 go out, it doesn't look good.
The thing is, it's his attitude is the thing that worries me, because I see he done a press conference the other day, and he said, look, if it's the end, if it all ends, and I'm sat, then fair enough, I'm happy with what I've done. And that's not the rallying cry. That's not the fight that you want to see of, I am the man. I will find a way to turn this around. We've got
what happened to him? That's what I do. I win.
Yeah, I win. Yeah, and he don't win. But where's he
gone? Where's that guy gone?
There's no.
It just, to me, he seems like a man that's clinging on by the skin of his teeth. And I think one of the worst things that we could have done, Dan, is beat Everton. because I think we would have had rid of him if we hadn't have done.
Yeah.
You know, but and
it needs someone
we
new,
need
fresh
we need a
ideas.
spark.
Yes.
We need a spark in this team, because I think the players have lost it with him. Going out there negatively, you know, Declan Rice coming out the other day, like, as you know, as small as a comment that might seem, when you know, your captain is turning around and basically saying he's got the tactics wrong this week. Yeah. You know, we cannot go into games like this anymore, when that's the way we've gone into every single fucking game.
And you've got Moyes criticising the players, essentially, questioning, like wanting to look into the whites of their eyes, questioning their motivation. That's the problem. So now you've got the manager criticising.
So he's basically admitting that they're not motivated. It's his job to get them motivated, you know. It's tough being down there. You know, you learn a lot more being down there than you do being up the top. When you're questioning your players' motivations and you're questioning, you know, their dedications, it doesn't sit well. You know, you're basically admitting, I've lost it here. That you know, I can't motivate these players. And at the moment, with the players that we've got, Dan, we should not be down there. But I said this 20 years ago when we went down in 2003. You know, with the Joe Coles, the Canutes, the Di Canios, we shouldn't have been down there. But the fact of the matter is we were.
Yeah.
And it's because of poor management of the club. And that's the reason we went down in 2011, 2012, whenever it was, because of poor management of the club. 2010, 2011. Yeah. And basically that came down to ignoring the problem with the manager.
Yeah.
And they're doing exactly the same thing now. Same board. Yeah, one of them unfortunately passed away, but same results. And we are, I said last week, we're sleepwalking towards the championship. I think we're free falling now.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think a win against Forest sweeps over the cracks for me at all. And this is going to be a long-term thing. And I've seen people say, oh, it's not the Moyes, it's the players. And, you know, who signs the players? Who coaches the players? Who sets up the tactics? You know, Moyes picks them. We talk about players being out of form. Well, Bowen's been out of form most of the season. He picks him every week.
Yeah, you're going into games. Ben Rama's been our best attacking player this season by a long shot. Left him out again. Yeah. Again, not the first time this season, but again, sacrificing him when we need a creative spark. We need to score goals. We've got 2 centre forwards on the bench. Yeah, granted they're coming back from injury. But we need goals. We ain't got time to be waiting for people to come back from injury and settle back in the side. You know, we need goals. Yeah. Skamaka didn't even get on a fucking pitch.
Well, look at this. Crowell, you know, came out and basically, you know,
accused him of the same thing.
Yeah, said basically said his man management is poor, and whatever people feel about his performances on the pitch, you know, he said there's no communication with the manager. It affected his mental health because the manager, you know, he wasn't in the team, but he wasn't told why and what he could do to get into the team.
Yeah.
And that is the problem. His man management is not good, and I just think it's seeping into the team now. And you know, when it's got the team's got a dark cloud over their head, and it just needs lifting, like you said, spark. That's the word for me, spark. And look, this game, it could give us a win, could give us a bit of positivity, but I think the long-term issue is still there.
I think if I was the board, Dan, I'd be looking at this game now, yeah? And listen, I know this is not the Nottingham Forest we played on the first game of the season, or second game of the season, wherever it was. This is a team that's more settled. This is a team that made more signings in January, smart signings, have gelled a little bit more, so it's going to be a tougher game. We was unlucky in the first game of the season. Was it the first game of the season?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, we was unlucky in the first game of the season. You know, we hit the bar, penalties, hit the post a couple of times and all that sort of thing. It just wasn't our day. But we need to correct. You know, since that day, we've stopped creating chances because of moments like that. I think we've stopped creating chances. If I was the board, I would not be looking at the result of this game. I'd be looking at how he approaches this game. You know, because at the end of the day, all due respect to Nottingham Forest, these are the games that are going to save us from down up. And if he approaches this game and sits back and lets a Forest attack us, you know, with handy players like Chris Wood, who loves to go against West Ham.
Yeah.
You know, it could be a dark day here again.
Yeah, and that's it. You know, you want to see the team go out and not just scrape a win, but play well. And a lot of fans, I think, were just taking this as a given of the 3 points. I was hearing people go, it don't matter about Spurs because, you know, we got Nottingham Forest after that. That's, you know, whatever happens, we can lose that. Forest is coming up. And people just seem to expect 3 points in the bank. They're above us.
You're thinking 15 games left, mate. Another couple of defeats, then you're thinking, there's 12 games left now. And then there's 8 games left. Where the point's going to come from, you know?
Well, yeah.
And we've got some big sides coming here. We've got Manchester United, informed Manchester United coming here.
Man
We've got to
City.
go away to Manchester City. We've got Arsenal to come here yet.
Brighton away.
Which we never get points from, you know.
Yeah.
And out of that 15 games, that's 4 there that you can probably bet your house on that we're going to lose if we approach the game the way we do. We've got to pull out a fucking miracle here.
We've got
and I would
Newcastle.
be Newcastle, rearranged fixture, which is going to be on a Wednesday night, you know.
That is the thing.
That could be, you know, I think depending on what happens to them on Saturday, could be a big factor in what happens to, you know, in the game against us. They win the cup, they could down tools and say, yeah, we've done our job, we had a good season, blah, blah, blah. If they don't win it, they're going to be thinking, right, let's get into that Champions League. Because
they probably won't win it with their goalkeeper situation. They're probably not going to win it. So it's so tough. And our away form has been so shocking, and we've got some tough away games coming up. we have to turn it around.
But it's not all doom and gloom, because
Okay.
I've got the team that's going to beat Nottingham
All
Forest
right,
on Saturday.
come on in.
Areola is going to go in goal. We're going to play a flat back 4 of Aaron Cresswell. Trust me on this. Aaron Cresswell. We're going to play Aguerd. Rumours are Zuma's going to be back, so I'm going to pick Zuma. And I'm going to go Soufal. Yeah. Then I'm going to play a 3 in the middle, which is going to be Souček, Rice, and sitting right in the middle there, in front of them, it's going to be Said Benrahma, sitting there, hovering around. Yeah. Then I'm going to go, Dan, Jared Bowen on the right, because he's got to play himself into form.
Yeah. Well,
right?
and there's no other fucker that plays in that position really on the right.
I'm going to go with Pablo Fornals on the left to give Cresswell a little bit of protection. Yeah. And up front, on his own, it's going to be Danny Ings.
You love a bit of Ings, don't you? You're desperate to get a bit of Ings.
Get him
in
starting, mate. He'll score your goals. Give him minutes. He'll score your goals. That's going to be my team to beat Nottingham Forest. Not just beat them, thrash them.
Okay. My team's a bit different. Similar formation. I'm going to go with Areola in goal as well. You don't pay a keeper that much money each week and have him on the bench.
Odd situation there.
Weird.
Yeah.
Fabianski's 37 on his way out. Areola's
38.
in goal. 38.
Oldest goalkeeper in the Premier League.
Yeah, oldest
Fun
goalkeeper
fact.
in the Premier League. Not going to be in this season. Let's start to get Areola involved. I'm going to stick with Emerson on the left. I know he's a little bit more suited to a wing back, but I think he's played well. I think he deserves to keep his
I think
position.
you could be right there.
Yeah, but you know, I can see where you're coming from. I'm going the same as you. Aguerd and Zuma, if he's back in that too. Zuma, he left Chelsea because he don't work in a 3.
Yeah.
That's why he came to West Ham. So it's, you know, that would suit back 4. It's Soufal on the right, and then I'm going to go with Rice and Fornals in that number 8 role.
Yeah, I like that.
Rice and Fornals, because we haven't got Paqueta, so let's go to the closest we can have.
I would say this though, Dan. Souček, I picked Souček because I thought he had a good game on Saturday. I thought he was better.
Yeah,
a lot better.
I just think, to me, he's like another defender. And to me, we have to decide is he going to be the man that stays back and protects the back 4? When it comes to playing progressive passes, ball carrying, you know, that's not his strength. He can, you know, put in tackles and win the ball back, but he's not really doing tackles that win us possession. And he puts in a tackle and all of a sudden we're on an attack. So that's the problem with Souček for me. So that's why I'd much rather go with Fornals as more of a number 8 to fill in for Paqueta. And then I'm going to go with Lanzini in that 10 role.
What?
Yeah. Lanzini, he's been chomping at the bit to get back in. His missus is saying, you know, play Lanzini and you'll win. I'm going to listen to his missus. I'm going to listen to Lanzini's missus. No, because, look, to me, I think he still has something to offer there. He seems hungry. And with Paqueta out, normally I'd put Fornals there. With Paqueta out, I'm more inclined to give Lanzini a go there for that creativity to link up with who I'm putting in at striker. I'm having Benrahma on the left, as that's where he's been playing all season, when he has been playing. And Bowen on the right by default. And I'm going to go with Scamacca up top. I think, Scamacca is absolutely quality, and his ability to link up with a Lanzini and a Benrahma and then having
have we seen that combination, the Lanzini-Scamacca combination?
Do you know what? I don't think we have, unless Lanzini was playing a bit deeper, but I don't think we have. And I think Scamacca will be, you know, hungry, chomping at the bit. The guy is absolutely quality, and having someone like Benrahma who can cut in and Fred balls to him. So we're not just pumping in crosses. That's not Scamacca. Get the ball to his feet. We could have really done with Scamacca against Spurs because he takes them long shots. He would have tested Fraser Forster. You know, and I know he's coming back from injury, but yeah, I love him. I think he's quality, and I want to see him play well. So that's my lineup.
If he picks my team, I think we'd win 4-0.
But he probably won't pick your team or my team.
So I think we were going to win. We're going to win, but by the skin of our teeth, 1-0.
Do you know what? Part of me says win, but I feel like this has got a draw written all over it. I don't know.
Which is worrying.
Yeah, I feel like a draw, and this is the problem. If they score first, I think they go on to win the game. I think that the atmosphere will turn here.
Yeah,
it will get toxic. So I'm going to think that we score first, but they're going to score, and we'll draw, which isn't good enough, and that should be sackable. I'm not hearing this, you know.
Okay.
That's it. So
right.
Yeah.
If you're never ready, subscribe. Let us know in the comment section down below. Are you Moyes in or Moyes out? What does he need to do to keep his job? Leave all that in the comment section.
And who do you want? Who do you want to replace him?
Who would replace him?
We've not left us many options.
But thank you very much for joining us. One thing left to say from us: come on, your irons.
Come on.